let Rory give y'all the publicist answer, and I'll give y'all the unemployed black man answer.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Mal. Mal Talk Network back in the building.
What are we at?
Scotty Tuhati.
Alright, so my status is I haven't seen or spoken to him, to the guy you asked about since our
This nigga won't even say his name. Mal gotta grow up.
I mean, today I'm in a different space. Back in February, March, Rory had to talk to me, calm me down, my brother, a bunch of people in my life. Because what we went through, which a lot of people don't know, is me and Rory really didn't talk about what really happened. We kind of kept it we didn't want to keep it, we didn't want to make it messy and, too catty. We didn't want to put out that response at all. But we saw narratives online starting to grow legs and people starting to feel like it was true. So I called Rory one day and I was like, yo, you know that people are starting to feel like this split is our fault. And he was like, yeah, I'm seeing it. So we decided to post the video that we posted, talk about everything. But just know what Rory and myself dealt with, nobody in this room would have dealt with. Yo, I promise you that. And it wasn't something that just happened one day.
We don't know what really happened, man. He could say that, but if you're not gonna tell us everything that happened, don't say that.
Oh shit. And it was we started, Rory, we knew we were being cheated. We knew that money was being taken from us. We knew that. But it got to a point where we were like, yo, listen, let's just fix this. And as friends, let's move forward and continue to grow the show and the business. And that was met with ego and narcissism. And, I don't do well with that because I'm just from a different space. Once somebody starts yelling and sweating, that's nervous energy. And I'm sitting there cool, I'm like, man, we just trying to fix something because we're friends and we're doing something dope that people love. Let's fix it and move forward. But when you're in business with somebody that chased a certain level of fame as a solo artist and then they achieve that level of fame with their friends, they can't take that. They don't sit with the buzz, so they feel like they deserve more. When we gave more, if y'all knew what the contract was, me and Rory agreed to a crazy contract. And that wasn't enough, you still decided to take from us. So it was just enough was enough, and we just couldn't.
So he's admitting that he believes Joe stole from them. He said, and you still take more. That's what he said.
Because tonight, we have a long ride on the block. Rory and myself, we already knew that if we decided to do our own thing, that, we would see success out of it because we believe in each other. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, bro. We just believe in each other. And it's a better work environment here. So it's all good. It's not like we don't look at it like we both stuff like that. We did what we did. We pivoted, made our own moves, our chat, and we know something different than that. So we moved how we always moved. Y'all just see it in a different light. That's how you feel. That's how you feel.
Now niggas screaming, fuck Joe Budden. Niggas been screaming, fuck Joe Budden. What up, y'all? It's your boy Mal. Mal Talk Network back in the building. Y'all heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Straight from the source. Rory and Mal have given us an update on their current status with Joe Budden. Now, for those who don't know, Rory and Mal are former members of the Joe Budden podcast. It was formerly Joe Budden, Rory, Mal, and Parks. It was too perfect. Still hurts to see them separated. But originally it was those four. We all know the story. Things went down. Shady business practices is what they claim. Joe's claiming that they were being greedy. That's none of our business. That can be left up to speculation. They signed a podcast deal with Stitcher. And now they're getting paid off of podcasting. They had a open Q&A at one of their live shows in LA. And one of the questions asked was, what is your current status with Joe? Where do you guys stand? And you guys heard it. It's a lot to decipher here, bro. It's a lot of speculation. It's a lot of guessing. But nobody really knows what the hell happened because these guys are friends at the end of the day. Joe Budden and Mal go back very, 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 very far. So certain things will let you know how hurt somebody is. The fact that Mal won't even say Joe's name lets me know a lot. Do I think it's a little childish? Yes, but he's clearly hurt. Like I said, nobody can tell anybody how to feel in this situation. All you can do is ride off of what you know. And the people that have been listening to the podcast since the beginning, like me, I've been listening since the early 100s. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't align with both parties, not just one side. But let me speak to Rory and Mal. Rory and Mal on the podcast have said multiple times how they have no interest in podcasting, how it's not an interest of theirs at all. It's not on the forefront of their minds, only this podcast. But podcasting itself was never really a big thing to them. Cool. The split happens. Narrative starts pretty much getting pushed that these guys are two dopes who are just two hands to Joe to help out, that they're not really anything of value. Whether that narrative was created by Joe or academics, because we gotta admit, academics had a lot to do with that narrative, but at the end of the day, it was true. A lot of people were feeling as though these guys didn't know what their contract was, that they were pretty much just caught up in the business, is what the consensus is. I think there's some truth to it. I think they were publicly humiliated and hurt by a former friend of theirs and a business partner, and they decided to prove them wrong. Do I think this is just a wholesome move that we're gonna start a podcast and now it's gonna grow and then we're gonna make our own platform? No, I don't. I think Joe gave him that kick in the pants to do that because of the fact that he was saying the things he said. He felt as though that he was taking shots. I don't need to break down everything, bro. Go back and look at everything that he said on the last pod when they didn't show up. He felt as though that they were trying to sabotage the pod. He felt as though that they weren't putting the same energy and the same amount of time into it as him. It was his baby, which it was. Y'all let him name it the Joe Budden podcast. So if it was really a true 3-way split or 4-way split with Parks, then it would have stayed the name, we'll name this podcast later, but it did not. It was an ugly breakup, bro. It was an ugly breakup. I don't really got too much to say here. We all know about the backstory and everything. I'm not going to sit here and recap all of that. But one thing I will say to end this, I wish somehow, some way these dudes will end up back together, bro. Because it's not an understatement to say that this was one of the most perfect organic creations of content with those four. I mean, if you haven't watched the pod at all, or you're new to the pod, or you haven't seen any of the old pods, I suggest you go watch them. The synergy between these guys, and granted, it may not ever be the same. Maybe when Rory and Mal's pod grows and becomes its own entity, even bigger than what it already is, then maybe they'll be able to sit across from each other and have a real conversation. But what them niggas created, man, that shit was magic, bro. It's not an understatement. As someone who's in this content creating business, that shit was legit magic. You can't really find four people to sit down and talk in the way that all four of them bounced off each other the way that it happened. But this is where we at now. Rory and Mal over there, Joe, Ish, and Parks over there, and Ice too. Let me know what you guys think, man. Do y'all think Rory and Mal's podcast was organic? Do you guys think that they did it out of spite of what Joe did to them as far as the humiliation and the money stealing? Let me know what you think, man. Hit the comment button. Let me know. Hit that subscribe button. Hit this notification button. It's your boy Mal Talk Network.